What is up, vinyl community? Welcome back. If you watched my last video, filming these back to back. If you did watch my last video, you saw that this is something I picked up from Dave Belson. This beginning of this track is beautiful. So yeah, this is the Natural Food on the Seeds label. Now, as I mentioned, just quickly, it was a very soulful vibe. Really nice record. Okay, so these are all my local finds. Well, no, mix of local finds as well as stuff I got, let's say, through the community. Haven't bought a record on Discogs or eBay, I don't think this year, and even last year, maybe one or two. So yeah, I don't really do much online purchasing, but there are a bunch of these. I would say half of them that are from another collector who's selling off some stuff. So I'll get into it quickly. These two I found together. Local shop that kind of post their new arrivals. I don't go there. Like I said, I haven't been out digging much this summer. It's, but they put this particular store posts their new arrivals list each week at the same time. And it's a small list, usually generally 20 to 30 records, generally probably less than 30. Anyway, and these were on there. They had the other ones that I already have, which I actually like better, but I figured I'd check them out. I gotta listen to them some more. At first I was, some of the tracks seemed a little, leaning a little commercial, but definitely some nice funk moments on here, as you'd expect from a band called Funk Inc. So this is Price to Sell and Chicken Licking. This one's a promo, and this one's produced by Axelrod. This one is not, but some nice moments on both of them, and some stuff that wasn't, necessarily my bag, but they're both on Prestige, early 70s, 74 ish, around that time. But nothing too exciting there. This was a completely just random find. Never had seen this record, but it was definitely something that interested me and did not disappoint. Really nice recording, actually. This is called Chamber Music, and it's by Joe Chambers and Friends, and it's on Base Date, so it's a Japanese release. It's kind of like a plain white label. Really sparse recording. I believe it's trio. Just really peaceful but engaging stuff here. So yeah, it's recorded with two Japanese musicians that I'm not familiar with at all. So Joe Chambers actually plays drums as well as piano on here. Hidefumi Toki on alto and soprano sax, and Nobuyoshi Ino on bass. So some interesting trio stuff here. Joe Chambers wrote one of the tracks, but they do Night and Day by Cole Porter, and then two other songs that I'm not familiar with, Flamingo and Inca Love Chant. But not an expensive records from 1979, recorded in Tokyo, but as you would expect, really like quality recording, crisp sound, and as a trio recording, just nice space and vibe on this. Really something great for like a nice morning listen. Enjoy this. Really nice surprise. So if you see it, not essential, but a nice record to find locally. Nice surprise. A cheap record that someone had recommended. I probably seen this a million times, but I picked this up. Actually, I don't think I've spun this yet. It ended up in a random pile. Silver and Percussion, Horace Silver, on Blue Note from 78. Probably play this today, actually. Ron Carter, Olatunji, recorded in 1977. Okay, getting into the stuff that I didn't find locally. Some major wants here that, really happy to add to the collection. So firstly, I love Lloyd McNeil, and was missing this one, Elegia. It's a later one, but was one that's hard to find. Never come across a copy on, I believe it's his label, Baobab record Co. company. It's from, I believe it's 1980 with Cecil McBee. I remember who's on percussion. Yeah, so Nana Vasconcelos is on percussion and vocals. Dom Salvador on piano, so you know, definitely a Brazilian vibe here. Portino on drums, so I mentioned in my last video. And Claudio Celso, not sure how you say his name, on acoustic guitar. And Cecil McBee, the man, my favorite, on bass. This is an absolutely beautiful record, as are all of Lloyd McNeil's records. All of them highly recommended. So big favorite of mine there. An artist here, Michael Nora Quartet, The Call. If you like electric keys, really nice record on MPS, so European jazz. Wolfgang Schutter, Michael Nora, Ebert Weber, and Joe Ney. So you have here, let me just pull this out. So another kind of like sparse recording. So obviously Michael Nora is a pianist, and then what's different with this is Wolfgang Schluter, who I'm not familiar with, is on vibes, and you also have Everard Weber playing electric bass here, and Joe Ney on drums, who I'm not familiar with either. This is one that I wasn't familiar with until it was reissued a few years ago, and kind of read the little hype sticker and was like, damn, that sounds really interesting, but probably never gonna find an original. I didn't actually grab that reissue, but look at this. Now I have a nice, clean, original MPS pressing in my collection, and this one probably won't get filed away anytime soon, as I just got it a few weeks ago, given it a couple spins, and it's gonna get many more. Really cool cover too. Big want of mine here, big want. So I have this really big love for they're all French releases, and a lot of them played together. This particular album is by Louis Xavier, and then include other artists, you know, the Lambie record, Georges Edouard Noël's Chodo. So when I discovered that Chodo is when I started seeing like, okay, who else, what other records, who else has Georges Edouard Noël played on? And that's when I discovered all of these records that I added to my want list. And slowly, the Maxilla is another one. These French jazz records, I believe, I'm not sure if they're all from the same country, I have Martinique in my mind, but I might be mistaken where they're from originally. But this is titled, the name of the album is Ladja, but it's jazz with a West Indian soul. And then I didn't know it, I hadn't heard this record. I just added to my want list as one that was part of, I put it in that grouping from these artists, and absolutely blew me away. Could not be happier. Is there anyone else that plays on this one? No. So Louis Xavier is a bassist, and as you know, I absolutely love bass. There is guitar on here, which gives it a different vibe. Trombone, electric violin, sax, flute, acoustic piano, synth and Rhodes, and a variety of percussions. But just 1980, I believe it's 80, or is it 82? Doesn't say here. I have either 80 or 82 in my mind, but yeah. So this is on the Ada label, not a label I'm familiar with. Gotta see what it looks like there. Excuse me. One I'd wanted for a while. Absolutely love Joseph Bonner. Impressions of Copenhagen on Teresa. A label that's got, you know, a little more, been in the spotlight a little bit more in the past few years, obviously with Pharaoh having some records on there. But yeah, this is one that I had definitely been on the want list for years, and it did not disappoint when I listened to it. When I just got this one with the Call record. These three all came together. So from 1981. Who else plays on here? Not musicians I'm familiar with. Joseph Bonner, Paul Warburton. Yeah, no, not one other musician that I'm familiar with on here. But really nice 80s jazz record. This is one that I did have a reissue of that I couldn't pass up the chance to get an original promo copy nonetheless. This is Roland Haynes' Second Wave on Black Jazz, one I'm sure all familiar with the promo copy. The two keyboardists on this, Roland as well as Kirk Lightsey, and you have Henry Franklin on bass and then Carl Burnett on drums from 75. Just a killer record on Black Jazz. I know, I enjoy most of the discography, but this is definitely a standout from it. Another absolutely beautiful record. Falls into that kind of, I believe he's from Martinique, but not recorded with any of the other group of musicians that I was mentioning before, but this is Michel Sardadi in New York, so with Richard Davis, Billy Cobham, and Ray Barretto. So kind of like a piano trio record, both additional percussion by Ray on Disc Debs. So Gale is kind of like the big hot ticket item by Michel, but this one is absolutely beautiful recording as well. Highly recommend this. So another great French jazz. I know the guys from FMU were all mentioned multiple times, a French cellar with a lot of good French jazz. So definitely would have been curious to see what was in there, because I have a small, grip collection of French jazz, French releases, and I love them all. But there's tons I am not familiar with, still discovering. One of these is local, and one of these, I'm definitely missing a record here. Don't know where it is, maybe downstairs. On Mainstream. So Hadley Calaman, self-titled promo. I've been a lot of promos recently, not something I seek out, just kind of the way it is, but one I'd been wanting for years, had never found a copy, or if I had, I hadn't bought it and regretted it. But great post-bop. Mike Longo, The Awakening. I got another Mike Longo record as well on Mainstream. It's just not in this stack. So again, not trying to collect all the Mainstream, but similar to Muse, there's like a small list of records that I don't have on the label that I am familiar with and that I want. And all three of these, so the Mike, the Hadley, as well as this, Harold Land, A New Shade of Blue, great record. There's one track on here that's absolutely beautiful and blew me away, and it's Matume. And it's titled Matume, and Bobby Hutcherson's on here on vibes, Buster Williams, Bill Henderson, Billy Hart, and Matume on conga. But yeah, if you're gonna check out one track here, check out the Matume titled track. Is something special. Okay, quickly, this is also not from the same collector, but from another collector that I was letting this go, really. Another record that I saw years ago and I was like, man, I'm talking like 10 years ago. Solar Plexus by Ian Carr with Nucleus. It's not a first pressing, but Canadian Spaceship label pressing, so really happy to add. I don't have a ton of fusion records in my collection, but definitely enjoy these Ian Carr early 70s records a lot. El Chico Hamilton. This is actually also from Autumn Records. I don't think I showed this when I went in June or July, end of June or July, I can't remember. This is something I picked up from Greg. Really nice Chico record. This, you know, his stuff, I mean, people know about it, but it's not too expensive and it's really, really good from this period. Hadley Calaman. So this is the other Catalyst record I picked up from Greg. Also, like, the mainstream one is excellent. This one is also excellent, not expensive. I don't remember who plays on this with him, if it's anyone. Yeah, that's what I thought. No one that I'm even familiar with. Hotep Cecil Bernard on piano, Kenny Jenkins on bass, and Brent Rampone on drums. And then lastly, it's from a shop I'd never been to in Burlington. And now the name is escaping me. But I had heard things about it, and it was actually a really fun shop to go to in the sense that they had a lot of jazz. The jazz section was huge, and there was good titles there, but overpriced a little. This one was, you know, fair, but, you know, probably the most I would have paid for it. But something that a local friend had kind of recommended, and that I check out if I can find it. It's a Blue Note 75, another Chico Hamilton, I think, from 75. Not a very different vibe than his 60s stuff, but definitely a mid-70s Blue Note that is worth seeking out. Perignations. And once again, just to remind you what we're listening to if you're digging the vibe. This Natural Food. It's beautiful, beautiful, soulful music. The Electric Keys. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna spend the next few months enjoying all of these. And yeah, hope everyone is finding stuff they like, enjoying their collection, and is in good health. Peace.